Hi, I'm Mel.
I forgot we were doing an intro, and I'm Janelle.
And this is the Murder Mamas.
The Murder Mamas.
Welcome.
Welcome.
It's Thursday again, and I was thinking, it went by really fast. Like, we recorded, I thought, like 2 nights ago. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, we're recording tonight again.
Also, I've seen you 2 days in a row.
Yeah, maybe that's
weird.
why. It's like, I feel like I've seen you more than once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like these days of school have started. It's been 2 days and it feels like 2 weeks to me because of Preston's cross country. To be there at 5:30 in the morning. Please stop. Don't do that.
No.
I remember I was in cross country. I didn't wake up at 5:30 in the morning and go run. But I don't know, maybe because it's the heat. So they run early. I don't know.
I'm not the cross country coach, but maybe you should take up your concerns with them.
I think I might.
Sounds good. Tell Preston he needs to make a friend who's
Fucking
older.
tired. Wake up at 5. Like, what the fuck?
Who lives in the neighborhood. All right.
Yeah.
What are we talking about tonight? We're jumping in.
I know, that was very loud, though. You can't.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. We are going to talk about Rosine.
I thought her name was Brandy.
Brandy. What did I say?
Brady.
Yeah, it's Brandy.
Wow, we are off to a great start tonight. Okay, you have to commit to a pronunciation of the name.
I'm going to say Brandy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean...
It's Rosine. Rosine. But I'm going to say Brandy.
Okay. We're talking about Brandy.
Where's
Brandy from?
I'll let you know.
Is she from Ohio?
She is.
All right, we're continuing our road trip of the terrible acts.
Yeah, I guess so.
Ohio.
That was not done on purpose.
And next week's will also be in Ohio. So, Ohio, what are you doing?
What the fuck? The new Florida. All right.
Well, my case is old, but yes. The Florida of the North.
Yep.
Ohio. That should be their new travel slogan.
New sign. All right. So from the very beginning, Brandy shined. She was a happy child.
Oh, wow.
Brandy's mother, Carrie, tells Crime Watch Daily. She had that contagious, outgoing energy that people just loved. So this is like the show that I watched. It's kind of like a reporter show. So there's a lot of quotes that I got in from this and put it in here. So these are like actual quotes from her mom and her friends and everything.
She was happy times 3.
She was happy times 3. And her best friend says that Brandy was selfless and intelligent and really loved others. She is who I want to be when I grow up. She's a wonderful human, said Brandy's friend. But Brandy also faced some heavier challenges with some struggles with her identity and who she was becoming. Okay. Brandy was born on November 30th, 1992. See?
Baby.
I know, but we're not in like the 20s.
Well, she's not the perpetrator.
No.
Sorry, did I ruin something?
No, she's not. Okay, no. So she was born on November 30th, 1992 in Northeast Ohio, a location about half the distance between Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania and Cleveland, Ohio. If that makes sense. That doesn't mean anything to me, but it might to other people. Brandy was close with her family growing up, spending much of her time with her sister, her grandparents, and her cousins. It said on one of the things that when she was in her casket, because she dies, her cousin did not want to leave her because she didn't want to leave her alone. She didn't want her to be buried by herself. Aww. So, like, she was very close to her family. By the time Brandy was in middle school, she had developed a love for cats, music, riding go-karts, and creative writing.
Girl, cats are the best. Go-karts are super fun.
Yeah. She sounds like a really fun, cool chick.
I can't write for shit.
No, but
love it.
Love it. Brandy was an orchestra member for 8 years.
Oh, also, I can't play music
to
save my life.
That's pretty cool, though. Yeah. She was part of the Teen Advisory Board for the Boardman Library and enjoyed four-wheeling and go-karts. She started writing at a young age. She mostly loved spending time with her friends and her family, her little cousins. She liked taking walks after school with her friends or staring at the stars. She blasted country or rap music and sang loud with her sister. So she was just an all-around fun,
like a very
down to
normal
earth.
Teenage girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
She generally cared about people. She gravitated toward people who were
She gravitated.
You know what I mean.
Okay. I did know what you meant, but you said gravitated. And I just can't let that one slide.
Well, because it's gravitated toward.
Yeah, she gravitated.
Fuck the two words. Let's make it one. She gravitated towards people who were experiencing challenges in their life or going through tough times. Like, she was kind of a fixer. Mm-hmm. She liked those types of people. So, yeah.
One of those.
Yeah, it's not always a good thing because those usually attract people that are
wanting to take advantage of people's kind hearts.
Yeah. She was a good listener and had a good way of giving advice that was wise beyond her years. Brandy had an interest in understanding human behavior, why people do the things they do. She wanted to head down a career path that would allow her to explore this future, turn her natural abilities and interest into a tool that would help others. So that's like what she wanted to do with her life.
She was going to become a psychologist.
Yeah. After high school, Brandy enrolled at Youngstown State University and was studying psychology and minoring in sociology. So, okay. Yeah. She said, her mom says, I knew before she did. I accepted her any way or shape or form. She was my daughter. And Christy was there to help her along the way and guide her. She was amazing. So Christy is one of her best friends. She is a lesbian. And I guess that's like what her identity crisis is about. Like she said it was very hard in Ohio growing up. People were not welcoming of gays or bisexuals.
That's the Florida of the North.
Yeah, I mean, it just wasn't happening. And so people would actively try and hurt other people. Like, it was bad. So coming out, that kind of thing was not, finding friends that were like her was very hard. And she was such a great person that, like, she didn't care, who you were or what you did or how you acted. Like, she just wanted to be friends with people.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know a ton. Like, I'm not part of that community, and I don't know a ton of people who are, but, like, there were definitely people, like, I was friends with in college that were, like, it appeared that they were, even high school, like, it appeared that they were, gay or lesbian, but, like, they just wouldn't come out, and it felt very, I mean, it's, like, your journey, and you get to do what you want, but, like, I see them now, like, in the future, happily out, and I'm like, yay.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
But why do they even have to come out anyway? Like, just be whoever you are. Like, who cares? I didn't come out and say I like men. Like, you know what I mean? Why is that so difficult for people to grasp?
I'm gonna hard agree with you.
I just don't, like, who gives
there should be no reason to need to come out with who you find attractive or want to be with.
There really isn't. Like, it just doesn't matter at all.
It is like the least interesting thing about someone, I think.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about it. I'm like, oh, neat. Like, that really means nothing to me. No. But in the most uninteresting way possible. Yeah. Not like a dismissive way, but like...
Okay, great.
Like, do you... Okay. How do you feel about all these other things that I care about? Like, what else can we talk about? Like,
that's what,
I just truly don't understand it.
No, I don't either.
Anyways.
So, one of the people that Brandy wanted to help most was her girlfriend, Jade Olmsted. They had met online and dated for several months right after high school. When I first met her, I thought she lacked confidence. I felt like she wasn't comfortable in her own skin, says Christy. That's Brandy's friend talking about the girlfriend, Jade. Got it. So she was like, I wasn't quite sure about her. And her mom says she was very quiet, but I also know Jade had issues at home, the kind that was contributed to why she was so quiet. She struggled with her parents. She came from a very religious household, and then she came out as a lesbian. Her parents were not happy about it. They wanted her to change who she was and just flip the switch and not be gay anymore, basically. So, like, her mom knew she was quiet, but kind of regarded it towards, like, her parents, not being okay with who she is. So she just stayed quiet in the background.
Like, make yourself so small that people don't notice.
Don't notice or realize. Yeah.
That's so sad.
And how do you, yeah. But Brandy.
I don't know why you did that. Well, I was like, that's sad. And you're like,
I don't know what to say. Like, it just sucks. I don't know.
Well, it's just like, I can't imagine like raising one of my kids
Right.
their whole life and being like, no. This one thing is a deal breaker to my unconditional parental love that I've been giving you for the rest, for your entire life since before you were born.
Yeah.
But this is just the one thing I can't do.
Yeah. If you could just flip that switch and just go the other way. Like what the fuck?
First off, there's no switch.
There's no switch.
In my opinion. But it's just like, I can't imagine. Again, it is the least interesting thing. Like, it would be the least interesting thing about my kids.
Right.
Like, great.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
That's what I care about.
Yeah.
Are you sad? Who do I have to kill?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Brandy accepted Jade for who she was and was generous with the one she loved. Brandy had told me that Jade didn't want to work. She took care of her a lot, said her other friend. I think Brandy did a lot of things for Jade, and that made Jade feel good. So Jade was taking advantage of Brandy. But Brandy enjoyed doing it. She wasn't like mad at the fact that she was doing it, but other people could see that she was taking advantage. It was tough because I felt Brandy could do so much better, said her mom. The relationship eventually ended when Jade stole money from Brandy and left town, but the exes stayed in touch. There'd be times where Brandy would say, take this phone number, it's Jade's, put it in your phone, I'm going to delete it from mine. I shouldn't talk to her anymore, says her friend Christy. And then the next week she's like, hey, can you give me Jade's phone number back? They did go back and forth a lot. It was unhealthy because Jade knew that Brandy would do anything for her.
Man, if she was my friend and she was like, hey, can you put this number? I deleted it from mine. No. I'm like, oh, so sorry. My SIM card died and I had to get a new one and I lost all my contacts.
All the numbers. Yeah.
So sorry.
Yep.
I don't have her number either.
Yeah. And
what a bummer, baby girl. Let's go find you someone new.
And so one of these things was Jade went to Maryland to go hang out with a friend, and she really wanted to be back in Ohio, so she called Brandy to come pick her up. So she drove over 300 miles to pick up Jade and bring her back home, even though they weren't together anymore, and she's dating this other person. So, yeah.
God, but also they're like teenagers.
Yeah.
And that is such a teenager thing.
It's rough. Yeah.
Okay.
So, then she found out that Jade was dating a girl named Ashley Barber. Ashley was known as being very tough. She liked to put out that no one could mess with her, and she was super aggressive when she talked to people. But like, you look at pictures of them online, they're like 18 years old. They have like the baby face skin, and you're like, I'm sorry, you're not a badass. Like, it's just not working out. They've got the piercings on all over their face and the dark eyeliner makeup, and then they're just like baby skin that's just like perfect because they're still 18. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work. just be nice. Like, why do you have to put off such a like asshole
like front,
you know? I mean, I don't, whatever. So
yeah.
Jade, 18, and 20-year-old Ashley were now officially back together and even living together at Ashley's parents' house in Pennsylvania. Ashley wanted Jade all to herself. So she was still hanging out with Brandy, but Brandy didn't have any feelings towards Jade anymore. She just wanted to be friends with her.
Okay, well, Jade needs to stop hanging out with Brandy because Jade is in a relationship with Ashley, and Jade's partner has set a boundary.
Yes.
And Jade is the one who is responsible for upkeeping the boundary that her partner has set. And that is healthy relationship 101. Like,
yeah. Her friend said, I don't think that Brandy, why did I say Brady? I don't think Brandy was trying to step into Jade and Ashley's relationship. I think she just cared about Jade and wanted good things for her, so she always stuck around. So it's just like, you know,
but also it's like she knew they were together, like, stop talking to him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yep. So on a warm spring morning on May 17th, 2012, At Brandy's grandmother's house, she tells her grandmother that she's going to visit a close friend who lives in Ohio. But instead of driving to that friend's house, Brandy drives almost 80 miles in the opposite direction to see someone else. On her way, Brandy texts the friend that she told her grandma that she was going to go see, and says, "Hey, I'm going to this address. Here's where I'm going to be. I have a funny feeling about it." And that's all she said in her text. So she
Girl,
sent...
you listen to...
Yeah.
Sorry, I know that's hot.
Yeah.
Listen to that gut. Intuition has never...
I mean, you texted the address to someone, so you knew something was... You know what I mean? Like...
Your body knows, man.
Yeah.
Like, listen to that gut. When your gut's like,
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
I swear there's things like, I don't know how, but like there's sometimes where I'm like, I just know this is going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think I'm psychic.
Yeah.
I don't think anything like that, but I'm like, maybe it's like you pick up on patterns or something. I don't know. I'm like, I just know this is going to happen.
Right.
And then that's exactly the outcome.
Yeah. And like when I texted you that our car broke down in Costa Rica, I was like, this is kind of like for just in case like we go missing too. Like there's evidence like, hey, they were here. This is the picture where they were in their car. Like, so something happened to them. So, like, that's my thought. Like, hey, I'm texting you this shitty situation, but also please keep this in mind if we don't come back.
Oh, really? I deleted all those messages as soon as they came in.
It's fine. I texted my mom, my mother-in-law, I had everyone, like, just in case.
You cast a wide net. Well,
I did. Okay,
you gotta listen to that intuition.
You really do. Her mom said, the text said, quote, "I have a funny feeling this is the address of where I'll be." She didn't take her backpack with her that day, and she suffered from diabetes, and her insulin would have been in her bag. That's what her grandma said to the state trooper. She could not go one full day without taking insulin or else she would die.
Yeah.
So
why wouldn't she bring it?
Why wouldn't she bring it? She wasn't planning on staying for a long time, I guess. Like she may have, and I don't know much about insulin, but she had to take it at least once a day. So if she was just going for 4, 5, 6 hours and then going to be back, like that's still in a time. But she didn't take it because she didn't think she was going to need it. That's something to think about.
Okay.
So
as a planner and a parent,
yeah,
like,
I know I would take it too.
You would have brought it with me.
I would have
like,
too. Yeah.
What harm is there?
That's
and having it with me.
Yeah.
And like, I have it, and
That
then
would
I don't
be-
have to think about it and like worry about it. And like, if my car breaks down or there's traffic,
Right, that's what I think
I don't
that
have
too,
to be stressed. Like that's. But I think that's what comes with being old.
And anxiety.
Oh, should I just explain my anxiety to everyone? Like, I think of every possible scenario and how I can mitigate that before it even has the chance of happening.
I do that too. So her grandmother began calling her cell phone, and her calls were going straight to voicemail. No answer that evening and no sign of Brandy the next morning. So Brandy's grandmother breaks the troubling news to Brandy's mom. And she said that she hadn't heard from her either. So they both report Brandy missing to the local Ohio authorities. But like it kind of stagged for a while because she's an adult and she's allowed to go missing. But again, grandma's like, hey, she's diabetic. She's going
like
to
a
die
medical
if she doesn't
emergency.
have it within 24 hours. Like obviously she's gone not from just by herself.
Correct.
Like something happened. So as the cops started to begin their investigation, her mom launches her own investigation, starting with digging into Brandy's cell phone records and calling everyone who had talked to her the day before.
Oh, Mom.
I know, Mom, yeah. Not long after Brandy went missing, her family was led right to Linden Street in Meadville, Pennsylvania. Brandy's phone had pinged at a house somewhere on that street. So her mother went door to door passing out flyers. And after an exhaustive search by her friends and family, they came up empty. So
Didn't her one friend have the address of where she was?
yes, and that was like the street name. I don't think it was like I don't know if it was that
Address?
physical address. It was like where it was supposed to be, like on this street, something like that is what I'm gathering.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So they go, they search, they find nothing, they come back. At the time of...
To Ohio.
To Ohio, yeah.
Okay.
At the time of Brandy's disappearance, Brandy and Jade were just friends. And so they kind of were looking into... Because obviously they look into the partner, and she was an ex-partner. So they're kind of like trying to figure out the police are starting to look in. And then they find out about Ashley. And I guess she had a whole bunch of hate-filled social media message sent to Brandy, like... all these mean things like stay away and I'm going to hurt you and blah, 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 and all this. And one of her says, quote, she had, and I hope I get to kill her before her diabetes does, is what she had said.
What a horrific human.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Could you imagine, like, I just can't imagine ever thinking that about someone.
I know, right?
Like, no matter how much I hated them or didn't want them around my boyfriend or whatever, like...
You would never say something like that.
Never. Never.
Yeah. So now the cops are, like, looking into, like, all of her social medias, Ashley's, and they're seeing that she had posted pictures of her, and she was all marked up, like bruises on her arms and her like shoulders and stuff. So like, that's weird. Like, why would you post pictures of yourself being all bruised?
Yeah.
And like, Brandy's not here. You have bruises on your body.
Yeah, like,
you know, like what's happening?
What happened?
The GPS leads. I guess she had driven, Brandy had driven to Ashley's house a bunch of times to like hang out with Jade when Ashley was there, like all three of them together. And so they,
that's really confusing.
I know. I mean, I don't.
No, I'm just like, the whole situation feels confusing. Like, if you hate her and don't want her around, why are you letting her into your home? Like,
right. Yeah, I know. So the GP...
I'm having a hard time being like, okay, they're teenagers.
I know, they're teenagers,
like,
yeah.
Everyone here is a teenager. Their brains are not fully formed yet. Like,
yep. So one of her GPSs took her to Ashley's parents. Like, her parents are in her car, like, driving to these different areas or, like, trying to figure out where they were.
Yeah.
And they're met outside by Ashley, Jade, and Ashley's father. And her mom's like, we have a text saying that she was in this part of town. Like,
have you seen
her?
Yeah.
Like, she said she was going to be around here. And Ashley said, no, she never made it here. I don't know what you're talking about. And then the cops had asked Ashley, like, why do you have bandages on your arms and stuff? And she just, like, said, oh, I just had them, you know, we were wrestling and I just had to bandage some of my stuff up. So it wasn't, you know, it's nothing, like, major. I was being a little aggressive with her and, you know, then we just were, like, roughing around and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Carrie and her mom, Carrie and Christy, leave like the house and give all the information to the police. And they come and interview, or when they're interviewing Ashley, they set up another interview. They wanted both of Ashley and Jade to come in, but they never showed up.
That's not suspicious at all.
By the next day, there was a discovery in Ashley's family's garage, which changed the course of the case. Ashley's barber's mother reported to state police that there was a car and they didn't know whose it was sitting in their garage. The car's exterior matched Brandy's Kia Rio, but the interior did not. I said, what was in it? Well, nothing, said the police officer. I said, then something's happened. I said, because my daughter's car was a pigsty. I know my daughter's car. And if there's nothing in that car, something's happened to my daughter. So like it had been staged. It had been cleaned. You had a missing person who was supposedly was coming to this home. And the police, they had told the police that she was never there, but yet they find her vehicle in the garage.
Okay.
So that's not cool. So when we went back to the residence the next day to talk to them, yeah.
On the scale of not coolness, that's like a...
But, like, thank God the mom was like, hey, this is suspicious. Like, I don't know who this fucking person's car is. Like, why I opened the garage and there's some random car in my garage? Like, the mom didn't know about any of this.
I go in my garage every day.
I know.
Why did it take you till the next day?
I know. I don't know.
I don't understand.
But I mean, at least she did call in and say, hey.
That is surprising.
Yeah.
I don't know why when you talked about that, it made me think of like Gabby Petito's, like Brian Laundrie. Like,
yeah.
Where I'm pretty sure his parents knew.
Yeah.
He showed up in her car without her.
Right.
And they were like...
Well, just like the dad talked to him, and I'm like, he knew. But the mom, I don't think she had any idea. She was like, what the fuck is this car doing? Like, she actively called the police and said, there's a random car in my garage. Like, what would you do? I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's a car in my garage. So, when they went to go talk to Ashley and Jade, they were missing. They were on the run. So an off-duty officer, state trooper, actually sees the two young females getting ready to get in a car and immediately knew who these women were because there was like a bolo out for them, and this is in a smaller town. So like, they're like, that's who we're looking for. So they go, they get picked up by him, and Trooper Eric Mallory conducted their interviews separately. He said, I started out interviewing Mrs. Barber and she wasn't being truthful with me. Ashley changes her story from Brandy never making it to the house to telling Mallory that Brandy did come to the house but left to see another woman. So she changed her story. Like, oh wait, yes, she did come, but then she got a text and so she was going to go meet up with someone else.
I mean, that's not something you like forget.
No, that's a hard one to change. Yeah. So that second rendition of the story basically was that Miss Stevens had showed up at the house and that she had planned on meeting another. That's her, like, she's got two last names. Sorry.
Why wouldn't you just
I don't
the
know.
Easier one?
Because they go by the other one all the time. Fuck. Leave me alone. Had showed up at the house and she had planned on meeting another woman by the name of, quote, Jamie. There is no Jamie. She was being...
she doesn't exist.
Like,
there's
no Jamie, yeah.
They just made up this person,
yeah, they made
Jamie.
up this person, yeah. Mrs. Barber had indicated to me that after Miss Stevens arrived at the house, they played video games, and she and Miss Stevens actually took a phone call and went outside onto the front porch and had some sort of conversation with someone. And then she said her name Brandy came back in and looked like she had just won the lottery. And basically shortly after that, she gathered all her personal belongings out of her vehicle and she started walking down the hill. And she said that she was really excited to go meet this person and she was never seen again.
I just rolled my eyes so hard. That is the most unbelievable story I've ever heard.
So the cops are saying that now they're both sticking to this story that she had shown up at Ashley's house and that she went off to meet another woman without her car and her insulin and then was never seen again.
Why would she do that?
Why would she not take her car?
Yeah. Like, hey, I'm just going to leave my car here with you guys.
Like, I know we're not friends.
Yeah, I know you actively don't like me and have said you hope you could kill me. But, like, I'm just going to leave my car here.
Yeah. So then Ashley comes up with this story and blames her father now. She's going
to throw her dad under the bus?
Yeah.
What a bitch.
She explains that Brandy, Ashley, and Jade are down in the woods by the fort, and her father comes down, and he's mad that Brandy's vehicle is there, and he says some things about lesbians and homosexuality, and I guess he gets really mad, and so he ends up in a fight with Brandy, and Ashley's father used a shovel and attacked Brandy. They still don't have a body or anything.
Okay, hang on. So we're supposed to believe that this man whose daughter is a lesbian and is allowing his daughter's girlfriend to live in his home has such an issue with homosexuality that he's attacking this random other girl.
Right.
Not the ones that live in his home.
Yeah, with a shovel.
And also, she wasn't here, but now we're down at the fort in the woods.
Yeah, exactly.
And he just happened to be carrying his shovel with him.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does she think she's...
I don't know. Like, I mean, they're 18, 19,
I understand
20,
that they're young, but, like, that is a level of, like, arrogance and like cockiness, thinking that people would actually believe that.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, I know. So the cop says they see an area where it looks like somebody was making a cabin or campsite, and there's some fresh dirt that looks like there had been a hole dug. They rope off the area and consider it a crime scene and eventually begin to dig in that area. They realize a human being has been buried there, and she's been identified as being Brandy. So Brandy was found, she's 20, in a shallow grave. They said that they had more information to tell her mom, but like they didn't want to tell her over the phone. And so this is kind of like he said, like, this is a conversation between the girls and the detectives right now. So
okay.
I'm going to say the detective said, Ashley, let's clean the slate and just tell me what happened. And she said, it was planned. And the detective said, how did you get Brandy to the house? And she said, we just told her that we were going to hang out. Jade sent a message to Brandy inviting her to meet Ashley for them to check out the fort or the campsite that they were building in the woods. And then he said, I heard her say, hey, babe. And I ran as fast as I could. And I came down and Jade had her arm around her neck. So I came up and I punched her in the face. I don't know how many times, but I know it broke her nose. Brandy was screaming. And then the detective says, do you know what she was saying? And she says, Jade, stop it. I won't tell anybody. Just let it go. I told people where I was on my text. And then
Poor baby.
So the detective said she thought she was calling out to somebody, like, help me. And they said, yeah, but it's like she knew somebody else was there. I mean, my neighbor was cutting his grass in the back. I knew if she ran, I was not going to be able to catch her. Plus, you know, her car being there and stuff. So I started beating her head off the tree with a tree stump. That's when the blood started coming. Then the detective says, how many times would you say you hit her with the shovel? I don't know, like 4 times. That's why Ashley has bruises on her arms, because I accidentally hit her while she was trying to hold Brandy down. Detective, was anything being said by either you or Ashley or Brandy? Brandy was screaming for her life. And what was Brandy's reaction after? She went limp, but she started gasping for air, and she was saying, Jade, stop, Jade, stop. The girl was laying in a puddle of her own blood. I started getting angry. Detective said, why? What made you angry about that? And she said, she wasn't fighting back anymore.
Is this Jade? Mm-hmm. What a psycho.
I pick up the back of the rope and I let her head hit the stump probably 10 times.
Oh my God.
Ashley and Jade then drag a severely beaten Brandy and push her into a grave that they've already dug. I picked up a boulder because I could tell that she was still breathing, and I walked over to the top of the grave and I smashed her face in. We had a full bottle of water, and I stood above her and poured it in her mouth and her nose. The detective says, do you think she was still alive when you buried her? I don't know. Our intentions were to bring her over so we could kill her. So the detectives, after they're going through all their stuff and like searching their houses and everything, they found a note Ashley wrote that says, I murdered your 20-year-old mistake and she deserved it. Do I feel guilty? Not an ounce. I am proud. So she's talking about Ashley, like your 20-year-old mistake.
She was talking about Brandy.
Brandy. Yeah, she was talking about Brandy, saying she was a mistake. I killed her. So they never really came out and explained to state police what their motive was. It was just...
I just have like...
Yeah.
A gigantic question mark. Like...
Yeah.
For what purpose?
Yeah. She said, I always believed that it was their crazy attempt to show the cop one another how much they cared for each other. Jade had explained to the state police that Ashley was very jealous, and I believe when Ashley found out that Jade was still communicating with Brandy, they decided that she had to go. And it's just like she was beaten and she was buried alive. She was still alive when they threw her into that grave and started throwing the dirt over her. She was still breathing. So she actually died of suffocation.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Do they think she would have survived her injuries?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. She would have probably passed. Oh. So Brandy's family and friends are left to try and make sense of their loss. And they say the fact that she was taken in such an ugly way for such a beautiful person, a beautiful soul, it's just shocking. That's why I don't want her to be remembered by how she was taken. I want her to be remembered as who she was before. And during a police interviews, in a letter Ashley wrote to her parents, she hinted this may not have been her only murder, saying, quote, "This won't be my last, and it was not my first."
What?
Yeah.
All right. You can't drop a bomb like that. Who's the other one?
Don't know.
So
they think that she's just saying that to be like tough.
Yeah.
They don't.
She was, like,
I don't think the
hard,
police
right?
actually believe that she had murdered anybody else. But she wrote that to her parents. Like, it was a letter addressed to her parents, and that said, "This won't be my last, and it was not my first."
How long do they have life in prison? What is there?
They were both convicted with life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Does Pennsylvania have the death penalty?
I don't think they did at the time. There was a thing they were going back and forth, so I don't know. But they're serving life in prison right now. Isn't that crazy?
That is.
Like, what the...
Just like the most, I mean, all of them are unnecessary, right? Like, no one deserves to die.
No.
But, like, why?
Yeah, it was just some stupid,
What? Like, the biggest question mark.
Yeah. But I want to say, like, I think Jade could tell how Ashley was very bothered by their relationship. Like, why wouldn't she have just broken it off? Like, if they were broken up, I mean, and they didn't want anything to do with each other, like, just move on. You're causing more drama.
This feels very similar to the case I did on Shanda Cher.
Yeah.
She was much younger.
Yeah.
But the same kind of, like, love triangle type deal.
Yeah.
And, like, the torture, like, all of it feels very similar.
Yeah.
It has to be at a certain point, like, just showing you can.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would want to, but just, like, showing that you can do it. And, like, I care about you this much. Like the cop said.
That doesn't make sense to me, though. Like, I care about my husband to, like, write him a note that says, "I love you." I don't care about him enough to go harm somebody else.
I'm going to tell you that if someone was like, "Hey, I love you so much, let's hurt someone," I would be like, "Actually, I love you not at all anymore." Like,
what?
No.
No.
Even if they were like, "Let's harm an animal," I'd be like,
fuck that. No.
Absolutely not. Like, I don't love you. No. Like, you stand for things that I do not stand for.
Yeah.
And goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah.
It's weird how you find these, like, I mean, I know that they're young, but like, also, I was also young and I would have never hurt anyone.
No, I never had the feeling to kill someone.
Never. But, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm giving them a pass because, like, they're young. So, like, the full thought processes aren't there, right? Like, with their excuses and stuff. Not for the actual crime itself.
Right.
But, like...
but they did it in a really... I mean, they beat her face in with a tree stump. They threw a rock over her head because she was still breathing in the grave. Enough, that's not... Enough. That's not okay. Like, that's not showing your love for someone. That's gross.
I mean, it's good that they got caught.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is the kind of person who will not stop. Right? Like, they're
bragging about it. They're telling their parents this wasn't their first.
They don't feel guilty.
They don't feel guilty. They told the cops, "I don't feel guilty at all. We did what we came here to do." And, like, I'm glad. I can't imagine being a parent of a child that did that. I would be like, what do you do? That's got to be...
That's got to...
Like, your whole life is over now, too. Like, your child... Like, I don't know. Like, that would just send me into a depression.
You're not fully responsible for your adult children's actions, but, like...
Barely an adult, though. They're, like, 18.
Have you ever heard of the mom of one of the Columbine shooters? She does, like, TED Talks about what it's like to be a parent of someone who commits a crime like that, you know? And, like, how she never knew.
Yeah.
And
That's weird.
It makes me feel so like hyper aware of like, okay, I have to make sure if I see these things, like my kids will go to therapy and like, but I also kind of to a certain extent think that there's things that are just like out of your control.
Sure.
You know,
Oh,
like,
for sure. 100%. 100%.
Do the police think at all that like Jade was coaxed into it because like wasn't she more like submissive and quiet, or
She was, but I think they
like
planned
her
it together.
confession is like, and like
they did
without a doubt they did it together.
It was not one, like it was both of them exactly the same. Like they agreed, they planned it, they did it together. Everything was together. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, and it sucks because Brandy was such a nice person, and she like took Jade under her wing and was like, I'm gonna help you, you know, I love you, and I'm gonna also help you, and I'm gonna do things for you to make you feel special.
I can see someone being like a kind-hearted person and not realizing like that she did realize, right? Like if in case something happens, like so she had some kind of feeling.
Yeah.
But like maybe not realizing like that she shouldn't have been talking to Jade anymore.
Right.
You know, like because her intentions were pure.
Yeah.
To just be a friend and like just help.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because that's who she was. She was majoring in psychology. Like, she was just a good person. Hey, so that's a bad one.
I don't appreciate it.
No.
But I do like that it wasn't from the 1960s.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A little earlier.
Well, and did you notice how the police solved the case?
And they did. They solved the case.
Did you notice how this one wasn't unsolved?
That's true. That is true. Oh, and then there's, I'm going to put it in the show notes. There's a website for Brandy, and that has all the information about her and pictures. And then her parents are involved in a group of parents with murdered children, or parents who have murdered children. God, I didn't even know. Like, can you imagine? So there's that information. I'm going to put that website on our notes. So if you want to check that out, please do. Because I saw that and I was like, there's a group specifically called like Group for Parents of Murdered Children. Like,
yeah.
That took, I have no words for that. So that's where we're going to end it. Bye. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Instagram at
The Murder Mamas,
Facebook,
The M Mamas,
Twitter,
The Murder Mamas,
email,
themurdermamas@gmail.com.
And if you like us and are happy with our content, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We would appreciate it. Bye.